All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Allison, even though it doesn't look like she's here because she stepped out briefly. And this is maintaining frame number 186. I want to be a matcha man. Allison is having issues with her camera, but I had to start the show, so here we are. But she'll be back in just a second, I'm sure. So let me just give you guys a quick breakdown of what we're doing. We're going to be responding to a video by FunkyFrogBait or something like that. We've done response videos to this person before. So the video is called "The Performative Male Problem" by FunkyFrogBait. And FunkyFrogBait is, well, I mean, she's a progressive, intersectional queer feminist, the usual thing, that old chestnut. And she is making a video about this concept of men who perform progressive feminist values. Actually, she calls them feminine, but I think that they're really just feminist. Not that, because we'll get into it, but so there's a problem with this. And she's going to talk about it. She has a pebble in her shoe about this because essentially men are performing feminism, and it looks like it's not real. And so she's trying to essentially make two things work at the same time. One, that this is performative, but also sometimes it's not. Sometimes there are men who are genuinely interested in these things, and they just go into women's spaces, and it's a problem for that reason. So how is she going to square that circle? Should men get in touch with their feminine side and enjoy feminine things and be an ally to women? Or are they all predatory? Is it all fake all the time? And this is interesting, actually, because it is related to something that I've talked about ever since the whole Gamergate and Me Too thing happened. So we're going to be talking about that today, and Allison is not here. She's saying that she's got lag problems. I'm just going to tell her I've already started because I don't want to be, it's 8 minutes after the hour. I want to eat dinner at some point while the sun is up. And, that's, anyway. We should get into this in a moment, but in the meantime, before we get started on the video, let me say hello to the people in the chat while waiting for Allison to get back online. So shout out to Richard Bier, who's first, Gabriel, Phelan Lucas, I just woke up, Mr. 0303, in Rumble, General Potato Salad. Hello to all of you all fine people. Thank you for joining us on the show. So we'll see if Allison gets this fixed, but isn't this the same thing as the demure mindful men? That's a good point. But Art Force, what's up? But I do think that there is, let's not try to put the frog lady in a box, okay? Because she might have a point. And what might be best, if FunkyFrogBait, what might be best is if we hear her arguments and then move forward amicably from there. So Allison's coming back. She's about to join. There yes. She is.
Oh goodness. Okay. I am really sorry. So we're already started? Oh man.
Yeah, I was going live when you dropped out.
Oh, okay. I apologize for that. That was due to
It's all right. I filled the air. I set people up. I told them what we're doing.
All right. Okay. Well, I mean,
so now all you got to do is tell them about the fundraiser and stuff. So.
All right, great. Again, I want to apologize. The Elgato not Elgato, EvoCam, which I believe is Elgato, just pulling all support for their software without any notice. I think it's throwing a lot of people for a loop, and I'm still dealing with trying to use Camo Studio instead, and it's a little inconsistent. We might be dealing with some delays here, slight delays. And I apologize if you hear any knocking. The Badger Cave roof is being repaired. big shout out to Spiky Helmet Badger for helping us with that, and also Remote Ruby. So thank you. That's what the knocking is. If you hear it, I don't know if you can hear that.
I hear it. Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting stream, guys. But we do our best here. We do our best. Not much I can do. It's almost coming on winter, and this is about the only time they can repair it. We don't want to go into winter without a repaired roof. So that being said, if you want to send us a message at any point throughout the show, please do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. That's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. The very best way for you to send us a tip, and the very best way for you to send us a message with that tip, should you so desire, because you don't send that message through YouTube's comment House of Delights. You never know what you're going to get. YouTube's
Funhouse.
Comment house.
Comment
YouTube's,
all mirrors.
Yeah, YouTube's comment box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Is it going to go through? Is your tip going to be seized? Anyway, feedthebadger.com/justthetip. Very best way. And it goes to our community too. So the people there can ponder your wisdom. And if you would like to join our community, that's badgernation.online. It's badgernation.online. You do have to get a Discord account. And finally, if you want to support the show, because supporting is caring too, feedthebadger.com/support. And a big shout out to Richard Beer, who recommended this content for a response. So thank you, Richard. I think it deserves a response. Like, if I could be so bold, I give my initial impressions. If that seems like an appropriate thing to do at this time, it feels like men are in the wrong, no matter what they do. No matter what they do, they're going to be framed as somehow doing it to women in a very negative and pejorative sense. Pejorative. Hey, I got one right. Pejorative. Yeah. And by the way, solipsism. You see how I think I'm mixing up the O and the I. So I believe it. Solipsism.
Solipsism. Yeah.
It's very unlikely I'm ever.
I just let you say it. I think people know what you mean. It's okay. Jim used to say hyperbole, so it's
Jim?
okay instead of hyperbole.
Which Jim? Which Jim used to say that?
Jim, Mr. Medicare, internet aristocrat, Jim.
Hyperbole.
He used to say hyperbole instead of hyperbole. Yeah.
Hyperbole.
So we all have our words that we always mispronounce.
I just have a great number of them.
You have it's like a little book. You could probably make a book called Words I Don't Ever Get Right. And it would make a great coffee table book, I think.
All right. So well, my main thrust is like, men can in this framework, men can never get it right. And also they can't be credited with trying to get it right. So the macha man phenomenon is apparently matcha. I guess macha is the next one, eh? Or mocha?
I don't know what macha is. I don't know.
Matcha. Okay, so the matcha man.
The speed of a jet, I suppose, with macha. Macha 5, macha 3.
So if men like this drink, it's performative masculinity, and it's like secret courtship traps being laid for women, because God forbid the human race form pairs and reproduce. Like, when did it become like this horrible thing that men want to attract women? Because that's what this is. This is men trying to attract women. In the most negative sense. Like,
she probably wouldn't disagree with you. So, I mean, I don't know if you watched the video, but we should get into, I'll put it this way. Let's let her set it up. Mm-hmm. She's going to be talking about a phenomenon called performative masculinity, or the performative male, which is and I'll just read a bit from the Wikipedia page, because yes, this got a Wikipedia page. It's an internet meme and term referring to an archetype of man which was popularized in social media in 2025. So like a new thing that just started happening. Generally involves displays of progressivism or otherwise performative feminism, as well as emotional sensitivity. And what's interesting too is that when I was doing like I was like looking into this stuff before we started. I knew that's what it was. Essentially, a performative male or performative masculinity is men pretending to be feminist men or progressive men or liberal men or whatever, so they can like get closer to women. Like essentially, like it's an inauthentic expression of the self, right? To get closer to women. And you know, like to be honest, to be fair, okay, there is a trend of male feminists that do exactly that, right? But this doesn't mean they don't believe it. So like the main, I think, trait of performative masculinity is that it is performative, which means it's not real. They don't really believe it. And I think that there are a number of male feminists that do believe it. In fact, I think that the default setting for the average man is to be more or less sympathetic to the position of male feminine or of feminism, to protect women, you know, from the bad men, which are the other men. So the one good man is an example of that. But I think the difference is that the performative male is not real. It's a false face, right? So anyway, one thing I did find when I was looking into this is that another version of performative masculinity was like literally the opposite. It was a guy pretending to be hyper masculine and like doing man things, like, you know, whatever they consider man things, with lifting weights, watching sports, whatever, right? Which is weird because it means that, like, you know, no matter what a man does, there's going to be some judgment about it, you know, because it's like he's not doing whatever he should be doing, which is generally serving women. So yeah, it's just interesting. But this woman, FunkyFrogBait or FunkyFrogBait, sorry, I'm just gonna call her FrogBait. She is not talking about the latter, which she's talking about the one where the guys pretend to be feminists. Okay, so let's let her set up the scenario.
While videos about the performative male have been circulating since 2024, the label really started to trend this past summer. Comedy skits have been rolling in, Get Ready With Me's recorded safely behind several layers of self-awareness. Crowds gather together for performative male contests in cities across the world. Houston, New York City, Chicago, Seattle, Toronto, Ottawa, Sydney, Jakarta. This trend has transcended borders and language barriers, uniting communities in ways we haven't seen since Kendall Jenner handed that cop an ice-cold Pepsi. How to become a performative male? No one knows the last one. Okay, let's see. MACHA.
I want to pause it here. She goes through the list of what,
what performative male is.
Yeah, and again, these are, I mean, this is social media stuff. It's designed, people who are good at it are using it to like get you to click. So it means that there's a pretty decent chance they're not really going to have a lot of substance to them, you know, because they have to be short videos that are kind of punchy and maybe even like, I don't know, done in jest. So, but let's listen to the list. Okay. Number 1, drink matcha, ceremonial grade oat milk. So you can already tell by the description, this is like super hipster stuff, right? Like, I think actually Lindsay drinks matcha sometimes. I think
I do.
Yeah.
Too.
We go out in the summer and she wants like a drink from Starbucks. She'll get a matcha. So it's like, it's sort of coded feminine, I guess you could say. So yeah, when men do feminine things. Also notice the loafers and the ankle socks and the ankle bracelets. That's like driving it home. You see what I mean? The like this is obviously
Can I ask
an image.
A clarifying question? Is this intended to be satirical? Like these performative
Yeah,
men?
that's what I think. Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Well, okay, all right. I guess we're about to enter the twilight zone where something satirical is read completely literally. And
I think I think she knows that it's satirical, but let's keep going.
Clairo,
can I just get in here for a second? I read or I looked at the actual articles. So while I didn't focus on her video, some of the surrounding commentary is very not charitable. So I looked at the New York Times article, and God, I'm blanking on the name.
Yeah,
but there were
you mean this one, ladies? If you see a man with a matcha latte, run.
Yes. That's yeah.
Male
And then
posers are have abandoned macho and embraced matcha. Is it just
yeah.
another ploy to seduce women?
Yeah, but what the okay, are we against human reproduction now? Like just another ploy to seduce women. Like, yes, that's
Well,
sort of why
the
most
idea
of us
is that like the man will reveal himself not to be anything like the man she met, and that that she's gonna feel like, I don't know, betrayed or manipulated. But I think that
can I
I
just
don't know. I Go ahead.
okay, I think she's done a really good job of setting it up. Satirical, it's sort of tongue in cheek. It's not intended to be taken literally. All of these performative men contests, and then we have these individuals in these articles taking it dead serious, right? And then saying, "Oh my God, they're going to seduce the women.
Right.
They might have children."
He responds to that though. So she knows that they're taking it serious. That's what I'm saying. She responds to it in her video.
I'm not saying that she isn't responding to that. I'm saying I'm also responding to those articles because they were ridiculous. Maybe we should go through them first and then go into her response.
Okay.
What do you think?
Should we read these articles or just get?
They're all very short. They're all like one page.
All right. So this is, ladies, if you see a what?
I did send you like some documents that just pick out the most ridiculous parts.
Yeah, I have it. Do you want me to just go to that?
Or they're only a page long. I think we could get through them really quick.
Okay.
I beseech you.
So
This is laying.
What do you want me to do? Like, you gave me a lot of links and documents. I just want to know what I'm doing. Am I just reading the article, or am I going through the AI thing to find like other?
I did it. I put it through the AI thing just to figure out some of the stuff to focus on. But these articles are so short. They're so short.
All right.
And they're so saturated with condemnation and contempt. Many the GQ one I think might be the worst. The New York Times one is probably the most reasonable, palatable. I would actually start with the one that isn't the GQ one or the New York Times one.
That's this one.
Is it?
Oh, the New York Post one. The New York Post.
New York Post. Yes.
This one.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
New York Post usually isn't. Oh no, this is actually the most. This
They're not
is
as bad as like the typical ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I mixed up the New York Times with the New York Post. The New York Post one is probably the least cringeworthy. Let's start with the New York Times one because that's the worst.
So you want to start with work? You want to start with New York Times?
Yeah, let's start with New York Times.
So this one.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Okay. Male posers have abandoned macho and embraced matcha. Is it just another ploy to seduce women? By Poppy Sowerby. Every Saturday morning in New York, a sacred mating ritual takes place. Like mayflies, soft boys, the sensitive young men of Gen Z swarm coffee shops with Sally Rooney paperbacks tucked under tattooed arms. Here, they queue up with rival males, vying for the title of whitest-legged jorts and tightest wife-beater vest. Tote bags ripple in the breeze. Mustaches bristle at one another in greeting. Then battle commences.
All right. So we have to sort of stop.
Yeah.
Not read too much at a time. But you notice that now the narrative is the soy boys are after the women, and yet Gen Z was notorious for having more of a conservative leaning, which really didn't. It just stayed more centrist, while Gen Z women went off the cliff in terms of being liberal. But now the problem is these dudes who are liberals and express they have embraced their soft side, their feminine side. Incidentally, this kind of
very mindful.
Yes, very demure. This kind of scaremongering is not that it's not that unheard of. Like this has been happening since like the 70s or probably even before. Probably the beatniks got it before then. Okay, let's continue to the next paragraph.
Yeah. I would just add to that. So like if women have gone like super far left and men have like drifted slightly right, then I could see why these women would be very suspicious of all men, because they're going to see them as part of that same collective. Like, are you sure you're one of us? Because based on the data, I don't think you're one of us, right? So I think that women are generally way more especially of the men who look like they're their allies, than the ones that are clearly not, right? That are just doing their thing. So, but anyway.
Yes, and, let's do the next paragraph.
All right. Then battle commences. Reaching the front of the line, they lay down the gauntlet, loudly but casually. They give their order. 1 oat milk iced matcha latte, please. Any damsel in the immediate vicinity is theirs. That's sad. Like if that's all it takes. These strong, independent, girl boss feminist women are weak, but okay.
Yeah, all a man has to do is order a iced milk, 1 oat milk iced matcha latte, please. What if they order a almond milk iced matcha latte?
They'd still be okay.
Coconut milk.
But
but is there a progressive stack of milks or milk substitutes?
I think the oat milk is probably at the top right now.
Oh, okay.
Maybe if the guy's willing to throw himself on a grenade, he can get soy milk.
Oh my God.
That might be more heroic, but it's also more dangerous.
Or he might just blast every single boss babe in the vicinity into her constituent atoms with his sheer seductive drink buying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go.
The grassy tasting Japanese green tea has exploded in popularity. Black Sheep Coffee, a buzzy British chain with outposts in the U.S., attributed to a 225% year-on-year surge in iced drink sales to the boom in matcha. Once seen as a novelty flavoring in Asian bakeries, the green gold is now rivaling coffee in the caffeinated drinks game. Driven by health-conscious young consumers who appreciate the antioxidant-packed drink's verdant, aesthetic, and Instagrammable cachet. Really?
Just apropos of nothing, my husband does not like maca or matcha.
No, I don't like matcha either.
Yeah, well, I like it, and obviously Lindsay likes it. There's something about
how do you like it? You can't even pronounce it. You can't. Yeah, no, Lindsay likes it. Lindsay likes it sometimes. Not, it's like she's got to be in a certain mood. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it's like got a bitter kind of smooth taste. It's hard to describe. I think it's like kombucha. Like kombucha. I noticed this is another kombucha. This is another thing that women like and men don't.
Yeah, Lindsay likes kombucha.
Yeah, I guess was there
it's fermented? She likes the fermented stuff.
Yeah, it's all sweet. It's sort of sour and bitter. But I wonder if there was was there a kombucha, a performative kombucha stage? Did we at one point go through that, or is
well, no, I don't. Kombucha's not popular right now. So this this article is basically claiming that matcha has become like a thing, and in particular in the West, I guess. And because of that, women jumped on it because they're always following trends. And so they said they have declared this cool. And now men, or some men, are also doing it. Maybe they like it. Maybe a woman got them to try it once and they were like, I actually like this. I think I'm going to get this more often. But there's no kombucha is not a thing right now. But when women say it is, it'll be a thing. So, yeah.
And then men might do performative kombucha drinking.
Yeah, and they'll get in trouble for that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's inauthentic. Also, there was one other thing I wanted to mention. You were talking about how women will realize that this dude isn't real, or like he's not presenting his true face. This is a drink. And this is a common activity called reading. This really shallow. Like if you think that's a personality is what I'm getting at. My personality is liking mocha or maca and reading popular matcha and reading popular. How many different ways can I pronounce it that are wrong? And reading popular authors of the day.
You'll come up with a few more before this is over, I'm sure. Okay. Matcha. Not maca, not mata, not mocha, matcha. That's it.
Okay.
It's very simple. 2 syllables.
Matcha.
All right, but anyway. But this is this is obviously extremely shallow, very surface level, and yet these women who write these articles are taking a tremendous amount of pleasure in using it to attack men anyway. So all big cafe chains, from the posh Blank Street to the middling Pret to the bargain Dunkin' Donuts, have introduced matcha drinks to cash in. All of this has ushered in a new breed of snob. My powder is strictly ceremonial grade, rivaling even the coffee aficionado who partakes only from a clanking great machine that hogs up his kitchen counter space. This just sounds like hipster shit. Only people, this is not even first world problems. This is first world annoyances. Not even that. I don't even like, yeah, Dunkin' Donuts does it now. So what? Like they're just going where the money is, lady.
But Brian, these men, they're drinking, they're sipping their green drinks seductively. You know, they could possibly be increasing their attractiveness to women. Isn't that horrible? That's the worst thing. It's the worst thing yet. It's the worst thing since the last worst thing, Brian. Aren't you getting incised? These men might be making themselves more attractive to women. God damn.
I just, okay, look, this is going on and on. So buying it, brewing it, bragging about it, the drink has become the ultimate status symbol for the modern metrosexual, to the point that this summer of GQ hailed the matcha man as the new soy boy. Is that a compliment? I don't think that's whatever. What birthed the matcha man? Coffee shop culture has, after all, traditionally been viewed as being for women, a place to yak with glamorous friends, pretend to type on a laptop, or film TikToks that show off a gem-encrusted Starbucks cup. Yeah, no, I don't think so. So, like, you guys have decided that coffee shops are for women, and then when men enter them, like, this is the funny thing. Like, when men take on an interest, right? So they like, comic books. They go to comic book stores and they buy them. They never said this is men's domain. They just went there. They get into miniature, wargaming like Warhammer 40,000 or video games or whatever. And there's a place they go. They go to the arcade. They go to the pool hall. They go to the bowling alley. They go to the hobby shop to get their miniatures. And nowhere do you see articles saying this has always traditionally been viewed as being for men. And then women show up, and if they're interested, they're obviously not genuine. Like, they're fake. They're fake fans. They want to gatekeep Starbucks from men. Is that what this is? Like, it's ridiculous. Starbucks wants to make money. They don't care who buys it. But also, probably started by a man. Jesus.
Yeah, well, but they're saying, so going to Starbucks and being performative is women's work, I suppose. Is this like an ad by the Mochaca
no
advertisers, like the Mochaca
matcha? I know you're doing it on purpose now. So anyway, okay, here's her lament here. Now this oasis is gone, and horror upon horror, male posers have abandoned macho and embrace matcha instead. Why? Because mimicking the lifestyle of Instagram girlies turns out to be a great way to pick up women.
I press X to doubt. That's why I think this is a matcha. This is a matcha ad. This is an ad for matcha. I sense the presence of
But it's discouraging men from buying it. Why would you do that?
No, but it's sort of like a reverse psychology. They're saying, hey guys, if you buy matcha, it's gonna make you hotcha. To
anyway.
The ladies. Yeah, okay. I'm
How about this one? Men used to go to war. Now we drink matcha with oat milk. Jokes one fitness
good Lord.
on Instagram. What?
Good. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Here's the thing. All right. Here's the thing with the war thing, okay? The trick is not sending men to war. The trick is not sending them to war. Okay, wait, let me rephrase that. The trick is not the trick. I'm using too many knots. I'm trying to reduce the knots here so it's less convoluted. I'm trying to figure out a way to express this with fewer knots. The trick isn't men going to war, okay? because that men will do that, right? It's like you have a German Shepherd. I have a German Shepherd. German Shepherd will protect you. If you get into that situation, that is its inherent nature. The men will go to war and they will engage every single person, every single man that these individuals are sneering about, in the right circumstance could be a soldier in a war. Right? That is not the trick. The trick is not to get into that circumstance where that is necessary. So the trick my German Shepherd will protect me should it be necessary. The trick is not to make it necessary, right? There's nothing men need to prove. You think that, and here's the funny thing. They were talking about how, other generations, they prepared their sons for war. Are you flipping kidding me? There's no preparing men for war. You think that the farm boys and all of the public school, that's like the upper class schools in like Britain, do you think those boys were prepared for the Somme? No. There's no preparing. No society prepares. Like maybe it trains, but they don't prepare, right? They just go and they live or they die. That's it. Right. And then most of them do the work that's required of them in the context of utter hell because they're men. And that is in men's nature, just like it's in a German Shepherd's nature to protect what it considers to be its family or its flock. It's just in their nature. Right? No, there's no society prepares its young men. Bullshit. That's bullshit. There's no hard times. No. All of the young men in our society are perfectly capable of going to war and being soldiers. The trick is not to ask it of them. Okay. I'm just, and if this is not big maca, this might be starting the process of, priming the pump to getting young men to be, our society failing and forcing young men to give up their lives to solve our failures. So, what I'm calling out is this judgmental attitude. Like in previous generations, we prepared young men for war. Bullshit. That never happened. There's nothing a society can do that can really do that. Maybe train, but not prepare. What prepares men for war is their inherent nature, which we don't give them. They have by virtue of existing. And the trick here is not to ask anything of it, not to have to go there. Okay, I just find that really obnoxious. Anyway, let's keep going.
That's fine. I got a super chow and a rumble rant. So I got a super chow from Tongue Twister for Allison for $20. Thank you, Tongue Twister. I think he wants you to read it.
Oh.
So you should go look at it.
Okay, I'm going there now.
All right.
Oh, Tongue Twister for Allison for $20. People, you guys really like to pay to torture me. Matcha sipping soy boys. Opaque? Is that the right way? Opaque?
No, opaque. Not opaque. Opaque. You're adding a syllable. It's just opaque.
Bloviating?
Yeah?
Bloviating? That's right. Bloviating? Oh, good. I got
Bloviating.
Bloviating. Okay. On existential?
Mm-hmm.
Existential.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Existential.
Slop. No, it's not slop. That's me and my dyslexia. Slopicism.
Solipsism.
Solipsism. Solipsism. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that we're playing to somebody's fetish here.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Okay, so then I got a rumble rant from NovaFan for $1. NovaFan21 says, Allison, I got to correct you on women not wanting feminine men, as K-pop is popularized by girly-looking men and not a shred of macho masculinity, and the girls love girly men decades later.
Did I say that
I don't
women
think
don't
Allison claimed that women don't want that, but I will say that women will claim they want those guys until they're with those guys, and then it changes. So women don't know what they want. That's it. That was your pearl of wisdom. Women don't know what they want. Let's move on. They tell you they want something. They don't. They don't know what they want. They're going with like, because the reason why they like those K-pop men is because they're high status famous men. That's it. It's not because like if it was a plain dude that wasn't like a completely unknown dude that was like feminine and girly, they wouldn't like him. They only like those guys because they're super famous and high status.
And they have tons of women.
There's a difference between looking like what's his name? I'm trying to think of the actor. Like what's a really like unattractive actor? Looking like Zach Galifianakis. You know who Zach Galifianakis is? He's like a Greek guy, really hairy, big beard, kind of fat. He was in The Hangover. There's a difference between looking like him and being him. If you are Zach Galifianakis or Seth Rogen, you're going to be really successful with women because you are those people. But if you just look like those guys, no, it's not going to work. So,
yeah. Now,
anyway, newsflash: women don't know what they want.
I'm sure there are women who like femboys. You know, all power to them. I think that a lot of these women are just being performative and saying, "Oh, I like."
Ironic. But yes, that's exactly right.
I bring the irony.
It's true, because when they say, because essentially these guys are fighting toxic masculinity by doing this effeminate stuff, and women don't like it because they think it's a lie. They think it's untrue, but they're also not attracted to it. What is on the ick list? It's probably a bunch of contradictory shit, and I'm sure that all of this stuff is on there. So. But anyway.
Right. Yeah, let's get through this stuff. Bang it out.
All right. Men used to go to war. Now we drink matcha with oat milk. Jokes to the fitness influencer on Instagram. I'm a matcha guy now, ladies, brags a creator on TikTok. There is a bleak truth in this. Young women are constantly warned of the dangers of the manosphere, of the burly bruisers who spend their days chomping on raw liver and whining about body counts. The cult of toxic masculinity is now so overcooked as to be limp and meaningless, and crucially, it entirely misses one key thing. Feminine men can be just as toxic as the bodybuilders. It is Gen Z's shallow sexual politics which privilege looking progressive over deeply felt values that have landed us here. So there you go.
Okay, like these are really deeply held values. Like, for example, I'm compassionate, but accept you're not to half the human race. Like, yeah, no, this is all it's performative all the way down, my friends. Also, I noticed that every man is toxic. How much? How many times have I said that? Toxic masculinity means all masculinity is toxic. It means men are toxic. And the ultimate purpose of the term is to give the person using the term control over your behavior, and potentially also open up your wallet so that you can be have the toxic masculinities. The toxic masculinities exercised from your very. Oh God, that was a face palm. Okay, but like I've said this. These individuals, they don't regard anything positive as coming from men. And the other thing is that the very fact that feminine men still want to get laid makes them as toxic as masculine men. Gosh, wanting to get laid is just like literally the worst thing that men can do. Literally the worst. God, we don't want to have kids ever.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, next paragraph. If the feminization of culture has succeeded, it is because posing as effete gains men access to the women they want to sleep with. Cultural capital has deserted roided up meatheads and landed in the lap of the mustachioed, mulleted Lothario who professes to be a harmless feminist and who wields just enough knowledge about Judith Butler to talk a blushing sociology major into bed. His t-shirt slogans, "The future is female, this is what a feminist looks like," buys him access to Gen Z women who have come to confuse political posturing with personality. He says it's progressive. Therefore, he is less likely to mistreat me. Oh, he says he's progressive. Yeah. So this is a lie and a cope.
Yeah.
Like, men are not losing. Like, they're saying that women have successfully feminized the culture and men are being forced to adapt. I don't think that's happening. I think most men are just doing their thing. And you can see that by the dating numbers. Men are walking away from relationships. They're not approaching women. And yeah, they're not happy about it, but they're focusing on themselves right now. That's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And these women are writing articles like, well, they sure wish they could be more like us. It's so sad for them. Look at them. And when the few that do, when they do sometimes, they're like, oh, this guy's up to something, you know? And it's like, no, you guys are coping right now. You're coping because men are just moving on. That's what's happening.
Probably even these guys drinking matcha, MAGA, and reading books. They're just doing their thing. Like they're probably just doing their thing. They probably have no concern over how attractive this is to women, because I really doubt. I mean, is this article supposed to be tongue in cheek, or is it seriously asserting if a man orders a MAGA on ice, an oat milk MAGA on ice, that all of the women in the vicinity are going to descend on him? No, unless this is big matcha doing an ad. Was that matcha? Isn't it? That's correct. Don't wince at me. Don't bristle your mustache.
No, you got that right. I don't think this is an ad. I think the New York Times has to like have a certain number of thought pieces. I think that this woman had this idea. She probably was at a coffee shop and saw a man there drinking a matcha and was like, that's not right. Like, she saw it like it was out of place. Like, she thinks that she's the main character from They Live, and she put on the glasses and saw that he was an alien and not a human being. And so she came and wrote a thought piece on it. And I mean, look, for me, it just tells you this is how comfortable women are. Their lives are so cushy and they are so safe, especially the ones that live in these cities, or at least they think they're safe, that they can write about like the political consequences of coffee shops. Like, that's where they're at. They're like, see, and whatever that means for like the dating market. This is how absolutely in a bubble you are, that you're writing that stuff.
I mean, remind me to talk about the fake geek girl phenomenon in relation to this. Let's continue. Let's finish this off, because we've got a ways
Men
to
must
go.
feminize. Yeah, last paragraph. Men must feminize themselves to survive this paradigm shift in women's romantic preferences. See, that's a lie. No, they don't. Like, some of them do, but most men are just doing their thing. I don't see where you think that this. Anyway, when visibly masculine men are maligned as potential abusers, women choose the wolf in vintage clothing. But this is all based on false assumptions. Performative matcha is one more way that ill-intentioned lover boys can game our sexual politics' daft stereotypes, joining tried and tested tactics like professing to be left-wing, painting one's nails, and listening to Phoebe Bridgers. You are just as likely to be shagged and bagged by a matcha drinker as a craft beer enthusiast, or indeed a plain old lager fan. So attention, women in New York. Next time you hear the jingle jangle of ice and see a Marghelia hoofed man walk on by.
Okay, what is this? Is this just literally, I talked about this so many times, that our society is just presenting men as really poor choices as romantic partners and everything. So we're just basically saying, no, you can't, there's no man that's acceptable. They're all toxic. Just stay your single self, lady. And we're not saying this because you're going to vote Democrat and you're going to support more government spending for bullshit. No, we're not saying that. We have your best interests at heart. Totally. But this is like that. We're just flat out. This article is flat out just saying no man is good. Leave them all. They're all poisoned. And the statistics don't bear them out. Like, I mean, the honest statistic, the empirically sound statistics. Oh, by the way, this is an interesting factoid. Did you know that feminist statistics find about 2 to 4 times less male victimhood than non-feminist statistics when it comes to domestic violence and sexual assault. Did you know that, Brian?
I'm surprised it's that small of a gap, actually.
Yeah, 2 to 4 times less.
Oh, 4 times. I thought it was like 4%. No, that totally makes it tracks.
Less.
That tracks.
Yeah. So and it's just a coincidence, guys. Just a coincidence. And it's just a coincidence that the Times bases its view of reality on feminist statistics that are so consistently biased against male victims. But when you look at actually empirically sound statistics that minimize recall errors and whatever, you find it's equal, right? Sexual victimization is pretty much equal. Domestic violence is pretty much equal. Men are about as much threat to women as women are to men. Right?
Yep.
That's just reality. And the reason why is because women's greater social power evens out men's greater physical power. Right? You know, and women can do things like use credible threats of, if you don't submit to me, I'll say that you raped me, you raped me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is all exists in a manufactured world where men are no more toxic than women. And it's ridiculous to even talk gender toxicity, because gender isn't a causal factor for this kind of behavior. What is a causal factor is apparently being subject to multiple forms of abuse. So neglect and sexual abuse, neglect and physical abuse and sexual abuse, right? Emotional abuse and neglect. Multiple forms of abuse has the highest correlation with going on to become an abuser. But even then, and it's mostly been men who's been studied, so I can't say the same for women. Even then, children who are multiply abused, only a bare fraction of them go on to become abusive or criminal, right? It's not even like it's like 100%. No, it's more like 3.5% of abused boys go on to become abusive. So it's the overwhelming current of masculinity is away from being abusive, away from being toxic. And yet, if you read articles like this, what is it saying? Oh, ladies, stay away from those men. They're so toxic. They're so toxic. And yet this article comes from an ideology that will keep women single, right? It will keep women single for political reasons. And it's not like, I don't even know if you could consider the Democratic Party to even really have principles at this point. Its only principle is expanding government spending and justifying it. So there is the party of expanding government spending, which is almost all the government, because the government likes itself a lot. It doesn't like us much. And then there's the party of trying to rein it in somehow. Okay? Or there's the people that are trying to rein it in. That's it. Those are the two. And this article is encouraging women to be part of its vanguard that produces a whole bunch of moral smoke, moral camouflage for the activities of expanding government spending. That's what single women do. That's why they cape for everything that expands government spending. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, and government overreach too, not just in spending money, but just like controlling people, censoring people,
yeah,
throwing people in jail, like whatever it is.
They want more single women. This political position wants more single women because the single women provide cover and they cape and moral force for government spending. Okay, for whatever reason, single women really are okay with spending other people's money. So they want to keep the increase in single women. So they're constantly doing this kind of stuff. And the thing is that this comes from an ideology that will sacrifice women's well-being to promote itself. Like feminists will stigmatize interventions into domestic violence that show a reduction in women's risk because it reduces batterers. And they'll be like, no, we're not doing that. We're not reducing the number of women who are going to be battered because that could question feminism. So this is this is a toxic ideology telling women that men are toxic. And it's telling women that men are toxic because it is toxic.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next article.
All right. So what is GQ? I can't read the GQ one because apparently I'm not subscribed to GQ. So
I sent you. There should be a transcript.
I could use the Coral AI thing for that instead. Sure.
Yeah, let's use our backup plan.
All right. So this one is Are Matcha Men the New Soy Boys by GQ.
Okay, actually, guys, oh no, wait, I don't want to do that. Never mind. Let's just go back here. I'm not going to touch anything. Okay. All right.
What?
Are Matcha Men the new soy boys?
Matcha Men. I have it. I'm looking at it. I can see the article.
Okay.
It's kind of long though. Well, I mean, it's not super long, but like we're reading like 3 articles and we're watching a video. Can we just get a summary of this? Because I know everybody who writes an article for any of these websites is like trying to get their book made. And so they're going to use this as an opportunity to flex their literature skills. And I'm just not interested. I just want to know what the point is. Where is the chase and how do I cut to it? So I'm going to go to summary. And I'm going to ask this thing to give it to me.
Give it to me.
All right. And of course, the summary is also long. Good job, Coral. All right. So, summary. In recent years, the vibrant green tea beverage known as matcha has surged in popularity, especially among men, positioning itself as a healthier and visually striking alternative to coffee. The rise has sparked a gender debate online about whether it is socially acceptable for men to enjoy what some perceive as a girl drink. The phenomenon has given birth to the new archetype of the matcha man. This is a conversation that people are having online. What are you talking about? Like, can you imagine thought pieces this long and this like robust and this academically backed up about pineapple on pizza? I mean, that's a done debate as far as I'm concerned, but can you imagine? Or like whether or not you put your roll of toilet paper so that the papers come off the top as opposed to behind, and that somehow is like something we can use to measure the level of your humanity. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because this is measuring the level of men's humanity.
Yeah, whether or not they're the enemy of the people or not. Okay, well, contrary to the detractors who mock men for drinking matcha, many see the matcha man as a figure pushing back against rigid gender norms. Really? Like having a preference? Okay, whatever. TikTok videos abound showing men incorporating matcha lattes into their fitness routines or casually enjoying the drink socially, sometimes with friends or partners. Social media creators highlight the backlash against matcha men as a product of narrow-mindedness that critics use to try and shame men stepping outside of traditional masculine roles. No! What are you talking about? So, okay, wait. So this is just another way to attack like normal masculinity. Normal. Like I guess what they call like toxic masculinity or traditional masculinity. They're blaming that for the ridicule and the shame that matcha men are getting, but that's not coming from other men. That's coming from women.
Yes.
Like it's women saying, I don't trust you,
Yeah,
or it's women.
It was a woman. Yeah, well, maybe it's coming from like fitness bros or something.
I mean, like only if they're saying that it's actually not healthy. Because like, I could see that, like, I don't know. I don't buy any of this. I don't think men are going around policing other men's masculinity. I don't think it's happening. I mean, maybe in some places I've run into what?
In the red pill, it does happen with the red pill guys, but that's not like, so
yeah,
what?
But those guys are kind of fringe and like, again, like I don't think that.
But they have an opinion on what's masculine. These people have an opinion on what's masculine. Like, it's like, how about an opinion? Like, lay off the opinions, Like it's just, and that's not this, because they are going to say, well, the matcha masculine, the matcha masculine. That's where it's at. But the macho masculine, that's not where it's at. It's like, so everybody has their opinion of how men are supposed to do. Why not? Why can't men just? You do.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, most men are just gonna just be like if they're
Yeah.
because they're. I mean, generally, men don't care what other people think. At least I don't think so. Even if those other people are other men, like the men, like women that like feminist women that talk about toxic masculinity, they think that men's social dynamics are like women's, where there's pressure from their friends for men to conform to a certain way of being that is against their nature because it is what men do. That's where they get that, that like those narratives, where toxic masculinity is something that men reinforce in each other. And you see these videos that are like, sketches of men. It's meant to like make commentary, but they're always like really over the top. Like, yeah, man, did you grab her bits? Yeah, man, I did. What did you do? It's like guys don't talk like that to each other. And what it is to me, I think it's an admission that women do that. And so they think if women are doing that, which maybe they are, I don't know, they assume men are doing that too. They must be. But like, no, like my friends and I, when I used to talk to them all the time, that would never come up. We wouldn't talk about stuff like that. Like it just wasn't in my reality, and I never saw it anywhere. I don't think that's the way men communicate. But because they presume that toxic masculinity is some socially reinforced behavior that is actually not men's nature, they're already starting from a false premise. So then this matcha man thing happens, and I think it's if anyone is turned off or disgusted or has an issue with it, it's probably women. And if men have an issue with it, it's either because they're these, like you said, they're like red pill guys, but probably more than that, it's probably because they disagree on another level. Because if a matcha man is like actually a male feminist or a progressive, I'm going to take issue with him, but it's not because he drinks matcha. It's because he has an ideology that hates men. So like, but they're going to treat that, oh, you don't like him because he drinks matcha. No, I don't like him because he's a feminist.
Let's go to their
Like,
examples.
these are different things,
Okay.
But
let's go to the examples. All right. So if you go to the Coral AI's transcript, which is just the easiest way to get all of this stuff, and you go to, but the gendered conversation comes at a moment of global macha boom. Do you see that sentence?
Where is that? I don't see. I
one,
see men.
2, 3, 4 paragraphs down.
What in the article?
Yeah, in the article, in the transcript itself.
Down. But the gendered conversation comes at a moment of a global matcha boom, and the concept of the matcha man appears to have originated here in the U.S. from 2 viral videos earlier this year. The first from digital creator Kyle Umemba, declaring his loyalty to the drink and riffing that it's cooler, it's smoother, it's matcha. He has since launched a collection of merch with the catchphrase. So yeah, he was selling something. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The second, go to the next paragraph.
The second is from 29-year-old TikTok comedian Mohammed Hussein and his impersonation of what he described to GQ as a mosque board member who is suspicious of the beverage. You're a man, you are getting a matcha, goes the audio, which has since been used for many a matcha-themed TikTok. Why not can you be a macho? His character goes on to lambast oat milk.
Okay, so basically they're examples of pushback against this. But let's keep going, because it's some of it, the implication is that it's men. Keep going.
Yeah, in all corners of the internet, people are repeating the phrase, men used to go to war, now they drink matcha. Some are doing so in what appears to be an assertion that the drink is feminine. In one viral TikTok, one woman writes, "Don't let no man who drinks matcha raise his voice at you. You talk to him woman to woman." Yeah, it's a joke.
Exactly. It's a joke. Well, it's not a joke. She's saying it's not just a joke. She's also saying that a masculine man earns her deference. Sure. Doesn't drink it, but also earns her deference. She recognizes him as a man. A man who drinks maca isn't worthy of her submission, which has got a lot of stuff in there. But let's see if GQ actually unpacks the stuff. Like, because it's not just shaming men for liking matcha from a woman, it's also saying that if a man is masculine, you defer to him. So it's traditional gender roles wrapped up in shaming men for liking this drink. Go to the next paragraph. Let's see how GQ responds to that.
Unfortunately, we've been here before. Drinks have been assigned unofficial genders for ages, so much so that one 2023 study on gender and food showed that men avoid foods seen as delicate and sweet as a way to protect their masculinity. Of course, gendered food discourse is a scourge that women are also taught to internalize with often disastrous effects. On the internet, these trends manifest as men eating raw onions as a test of manhood, shaming soy boys, and protein-obsessed diets promoted by the manosphere.
Oh, all right. So what the examples, do you notice that? The examples that GQ gives are a man proclaiming his love of matcha, another man mocking his conservative community for being suspicious of it, a bunch of gender-neutral people saying we used to send boys to war, now they drink matcha, and a woman who not only shames men for liking matcha, but puts them in a binary where you see a man who likes matcha as a woman, and you see a masculine man as someone you defer to, that who can speak loudly to you and give you commands. And somehow GQ translated all of that data into men shaming other men. Too bad you didn't support it, GQ. And it doesn't freaking matter. Like, matcha is a very sugary drink. I would imagine people who are promoting a high protein lifestyle, lots of fitness, are going to be like, this is a sugary drink. Why are you drinking it?
They're probably just against carbs. Or at least like saying that you should take fewer carbs. And matcha is, pretty high. It's like lattes. They're very sugary.
Yeah. Okay.
But of course, they have to frame it gendered wise because, like the guys that are bodybuilders or that are into fitness, and women too, by the way, that are also into fitness stuff, they might be inclined to be more interested in paleo or carnivore or at least high protein, low carb or whatever. That's not a gendered thing, but they're trying to make it into that. But anyway.
Yeah. And ultimately, this article concludes that the growing swarm of matcha men might be a sign that guys are freeing themselves from gender conformity, or at the very least enjoying what is undeniably a delicious beverage. Okay, freeing yourself from gender conformity isn't landing in the new conformist bubble. But whatever. What do I know? God damn. I'm going to look at this freaking... I'm going to look at this... it's okay. This is the study that's cited. Healthful eating is a manhood threat. Do you want me to send it to you so you can pop it up?
Sure.
Oh, good grief. Wow. Again, I apologize for the construction sounds, guys. Not much I can do right now. Okay, I just sent it to you.
Yeah.
And you can pop it up. We can read the abstract. I'm sure it's going to be edifying. It's going to edify something. Wow. I'll let you do that.
Okay. This is from original research. Healthful eating as a manhood threat. Abstract. 2 studies test the hypothesis that men's dietary choices are guided by the perceived genderedness of foods. Men avoid feminine but healthy foods as a result, and that endorsing a healthy but feminine diet can be a masculinity threat. How do they determine what's healthy, though? Because I'm starting to feel like this is gonna go vegan. But let's see. Study 1A established gendered associations about a wide range of foods and diet types by having a college student population rate the masculinity and femininity of a wide variety of foods and diet types. So they had college students do this. Okay. Study 1B surveyed university students and found that the perceived genderedness of foods predicted men's but not women's food preferences, even when controlling for traditional gender role endorsement and foods' perceived healthiness. In study 2, we experimentally tested whether a healthy but feminine diet represents a masculinity threat for men. Using a sample of college students, men and women were assigned to publicly endorse a feminine vegetarian or masculine meat-based diet. What did I say? What did I say?
Yeah.
So basically, vegetables are feminine. Men didn't decide this. This thing is claiming that. It's also claiming that vegetables are healthier than meat. This is another claim that I don't think is supported by the evidence per se. And it's funny they're saying vegetarian, not just vegan. Like there are no vegetarians anymore, guys. I don't know if you noticed. It's just vegan now. Like vegan used to be the fringe thing. Now it's the only thing. If you're like not eating meat, you're just vegan. There's no vegetarian option. You know, it's just vegan now. But anyway, so men but not women who endorse the vegetarian diet compensated by reporting stronger identification with their gender and more liking for masculine activities. And they reported being less offended by jokes that targeted feminine groups that symbolically threaten manhood, women and gay men. Collectively, these results suggest that men may compromise healthy eating habits because of manhood concerns, and endorsing healthy but feminine diets can create motivations to compensate for threatened masculinity. So that's the abstract. Allison, if you're muted, you can unmute now.
It's just there is a lot like that. I think they're directly overhead now, so
yeah,
there's a lot of noise. I just put it through Grok. Can I actually share? Okay, so unfortunately, direct access to the provided URL resulted in an error. Okay, I'm going to download this sucker and I'm going to put it into Grok and we're going to look at that. But while we're doing that, we might as well do the third article because it's the one that's the least annoying.
What?
The third article.
Let's
do the third article.
Okay. All right. By the way, and I think this is important to note, whether you're vegan or not, or if you're carnivore or paleo, meat and protein raises your testosterone.
Yep.
So I'm just telling you, if there's, because I don't think the purpose of the study is just to measure this. I think that there is a concerted effort to weaken men, and I think it's been like this for a long time. And they have like this is why the label soy boy exists. It's not just shaming men. It's actually because drinking a lot of soy isn't good for you, male or female. Like I got cancer because of it. That's how I got cancer. That's what I think. Because for a while there, I bought into the idea that soy milk was healthier than regular milk. And so I drank a lot of it. I mean, I didn't drink it from the carton, but I had like, coffees with soy milk and soy creamer in it because I thought it was a healthier substitute because that's what I was told, and I got cancer. So I'm just saying, if they're saying that eating meat is masculine, they are saying that eating meat is harmful, that it's bad because masculinity is bad. So why wouldn't you conclude that? Okay, New York Post. Woke men mocked by women for obnoxious performative drinking habit. You guys ruined matcha. Not my cup of tea, these judgy girls say. As the current global matcha shortage still looms, the drink's devotees are turning against one another. The latest tactic to try to curb the tea's traction, ridiculing its newer fans, who are mostly men. Some ladies who suspect that these men are adopting habits like matcha drinking to appeal to single women have taken their teasing to TikTok. Several women have shared snaps. I'm not going to play this because this video is, I think it's in the video that we're responding to. Several women have shared snaps of unsuspecting men sipping a matcha while reading a novel. They claim these performative and woke males are merely posing in an attempt to pick up ladies who are passing by. I can't even drink matcha anymore without being called performative, one fella forlornly declared. Yeah, so women are saying that they either don't think that those men are attractive or that those men are being deceitful by participating in this trend. There's something disingenuous about them.
Yeah.
I've liked matcha for years and I'm not stopping because of internet weirdos, declared one dedicated drinker in the comments. It's not just the tasty tea that's performative when men enjoy it, though. Some TikTok users even labeling habits and hobbies like reading as insincere. Might as well have matcha and a Clairo vinyl with you. Oh, Clairo? I don't know, Clairo? I don't know who that is. joked one reply, referring to yet another performative male habit, using wired headphones, carrying tote bags, and listening to the singer Clairo are also potential targets. So basically, like, if women enjoy something and men enjoy it too, they're fake. It's like the fake gamer girl thing, right?
Yeah, not
Except
quite.
that women are actually doing it and they're being loud about it.
Yeah, not quite. I would say that there's a slight difference, but we'll get into that. Let's finish this article.
However, others didn't find it as amusing. The fact that someone's thirst for knowledge is now deemed as performative is so incredibly concerning. We have strayed so far from the plot. Read in public, King. It's fun to read with a busy atmosphere around you, wrote one chilled commenter, while another said, anti-intellectualism is on the rise and is pressuring all the smart people to stop reading.
Yeah, no, it's not. We're not going to respond to that if you're smart. Okay, keep going.
All right. While much of the discourse surrounding the subject tends to focus on how the cheeky trend is more indicative of contemporary culture, particularly where declining reading rates and rampant technology use are concerned, others simply said it's not that deep. A scant few are simply curious how much reading these literature-loving lads actually get done in busy public places, though. How long was he on that page for, wondered one user, and another eagle-eyed analyst noted, honestly, he's like halfway through the book. If he was like at the beginning, then I'd say, yeah, he's performing, but I think it's just generally a nerd.
Yeah.
At the same festival, one sneaky shutterbug noticed the man with a matcha in the pocket of his cargo pants, sparking plenty of snarky comments from women scrolling through the app, but perhaps the most succinct, sincere explanation for the male matcha craze comes from this man in the comments, because matcha tastes good. Wow, that's simple. And what's with women, all these like women like paparazzis taking pictures of men in public? Wouldn't, like, if that was, I'm sorry, but I know it's
creepy.
Old hat, but if the sexes were reversed, like, the guy would go to jail probably.
No, but
and
that's what we need to do.
There'd be a problem.
Yeah, but that's what we need to do. I mean, it's never going to be old hat because it's something that we actually need to do. Like just today, I got into this. Like there's this quote unquote marriage counselor. You can find him on my timeline. He ended up blocking me. He swanned in after I said, you know, there was a meme that said that men spend more on women than women spend on men. And I said, can we stop talking about now? We stop talking about patriarchy. And he swanned in and he said, but these men are not spending this money on what women want. And I'm like, what? And then he goes back and forth with a bunch of people saying, why are you making this? Why are you making men into the bad party because they spend more on their partners than women do? How did men spend more on women than women spend on men? Women most affected. Like, how did you do this? And eventually I got into this argument and he was professing that, well, we need to be about equality. So I simply asked Grok, okay, does this man treat men and women equally? And Grok comes back with no. He has a very distinct change in how he treats men and women. For men, if they're angry, he tells men to try to extend themselves to understand women. And for women, when they're angry, he tells men to extend themselves to understand why these women are angry. So it's always put on men. The onus is in his therapy. The onus is always put on men to take responsibility for the fate of the relationship, right? And there's this very stark difference between how he treats male clients and female clients. And Grok picked it up, well, we don't know if he treats male and female clients like that because we don't have access to that material. But this is how he treats men and women on Twitter differently. And I pointed this out. I'm like, dude, then this is where he blocked me. Like, I said a lot of things to him, but this is what he blocked me on. If anything, Grok has identified a bias that you have that could potentially be harming your patients. Don't you think it behooves you to look further into that? First, do no harm. You know, the Asclepius statement that if you're a healthcare provider, the first thing you have to do is do no harm. If Grok has identified a bias, maybe you should figure out if you're bringing that into your with your clients. Okay. And absolutely, he responded with like complete dismissal of the potential that this could be something he should look into as presumably a healthcare provider with any kind of integrity. And not just that, not only is he putting the onus on the relationship of the man. So if the man is angry, he needs to understand his wife more. If the wife is angry, the husband needs to understand her more. So the onus is always on the man. He's justifying women's anger, which when he talks to men, he says, well, you don't want to live in anger because it leads to a loss of quality of life. But you're justifying women's anger. So by your own admission, you're leading them towards a toxic life. Don't you want to think about these things a little closely and figure out maybe you're bringing this into your practice? No, the problem was me pointing it out. That really sounds like a guy with the kind of integrity you'd want as a therapist, huh? Good Lord. Anyway, so that was this exchange. And the way that it brings back is when you said it's getting old hat to switch the genders. No, 100% we should switch the genders and we should continue to do so. We should drill down on this as far as we can take it because we should understand ourselves. We should understand when we are not being equal, when we are not applying equality to the sexes. Whether or not we continue to not apply it is a different question, but we should know when we don't. And we certainly, like that dude, shouldn't be saying, oh yeah, I'm all about equality, and then do the exact opposite. Equality for women, but not for men, which isn't equality, guys. Like literally, that's not equality. You can't have equality for one group, but not the other. Okay, so we're done this article.
Basically, yeah. And just for the record, I wasn't saying that we shouldn't look at the opposite. I was just going to say that I know that our audience has already done this because they've seen us do this countless times. So what I'm saying is it's probably something you guys have seen before already. But that's
so
fine.
I sent sent you a list of from the video, the most like the best takes. If you want to go through that list, or if you have your own list.
Which one is it? Is it just the PDF, the performative masculinity PDF?
Yes, it's the second one.
Oh, the performative male problem. All right.
Yeah, we can use that as a guide since we've already done the intro and we've laid the groundwork with all of these articles. Now, this isn't really like calling her out that much because, again, I think that she's a somewhat sympathetic response.
Well, there's a twist.
Oh, of course.
It not quite. I don't know because, again, I think maybe you would just have to watch it. But I'll put these time codes in. We'll just go with this. So first of all, let me make sure the sound's gonna work.
Score.
Okay, it is working. Okay. So she's like going through a list of like traits, how to become
these are
man. What?
These are all how to become let's do it. I'll be quiet.
I'm just gonna play this little bit. It's a joke though. This is a joke.
A performative male. No one knows the last one. Okay, let's see. Matcha, Clairo have a good credit score. Oh, this is an ad. You know, online discourse is at peak freshness when a paralegal over at Consumer Justice has a great idea for a video. Only the newest news and trendiest topics on this channel, but even traditional media.
All right. So, well, I mean, it's true though. Women do like a man with a good credit score. So, love it or hate it.
I went through the list of icks with Mike, and that you would be surprised. Apparently, waiting in line is an ick. Doing your job is an ick. So I wouldn't be surprised if eventually having a good credit score is somewhere in there as an ick. Some woman somewhere is a visceral negative reaction to it. Because honestly, you can just reduce the list of icks down to don't be feminine, don't be gay, and don't exist. There you go.
All right.
All right.
So the next time code is apparently definitions and traits of the performative male. So
phenomenon, which is what we in the biz call looking at my phone on the toilet until I can't feel my legs anymore. According to the data I collected, traits associated with being a performative male include having a mustache, having a letterboxd account, consuming matcha in any form, choosing milk alternatives, carrying a tote bag, believing in astrology, listening.
pausing it for a second here. I don't know what letterboxd is, but okay. This is all like, well, whatever. This all sounds like feminine traits, but I guess that's the point.
Music made by women, specifically Loewe, Biba, Doobie, or Clairo, owning physical media like CDs, cassettes, or records, carrying menstrual products, wearing wired earbuds, wearing thrifted clothes, wearing jewelry, wearing keychain toys, reading books about feminism, reading books by women, reading books outside, reading. You silly sluts. Everyone knows boys don't read. I left a
I'm interested in the twist of the twist of all of this.
Yeah, I mean, well, do you want me to jump around or just cut to the chase?
No, I'm just interested. Okay, but
okay, all right. Yeah, there is a twist. There is a twist coming. You're gonna be like I was. This may even start to warm up to you, and then the worm turns. So how?
Yes.
Well, I'll let you guys figure that out. Let's play the rest of this. There might not be much to it, but let's play the rest of this.
Like on the first few performative male videos I scrolled through. I got the joke, but by the 4th, 5th, and 6th, something started to feel off. Like when you suddenly realize there's a pebble in your shoe. It's probably nothing. Anyways, you ladies ever hear of Judith Butler? My phone number is written on the back. But before we continue.
So, okay.
Okay, this is probably an ad.
That was him. We're doing a... This is what men are doing, right? You rate Judith Butler. My phone number's on the back of the book that she was pretending to be a man. That's the only reason why a man will be interested in anything is because it might get him closer to a woman. So, all right, 6. I guess like right here. Yeah, here we go.
And is bothering me so much. Oh, a lot of these TikToks are formatted in the exact same way. A clueless performative male minding his own performative business while filmed from afar, usually at a cafe. Please, buying your latte at a cafe? I only make mine at home with matcha fresh from the...
No, we're not going to talk about this. This is massively creepy. Like you are filming somebody in public to post them online to humiliate and bully them. And nobody, I'm guessing that she never points this out, that this is really unsavory behavior on the part of the women who are doing this. Like
yeah,
really abusive and thuggish. And if
I already
not creepy.
said that. Yeah.
Yep, we did.
All right.
But now it just becomes more obvious, right? Because she's talking about the only thing that matters here is men's behavior. No, I think that there is something you are overlooking here. Okay, let's continue.
Part of Kyoto, owned by a blind 90-year-old woman. She only sells to locals, so you either have to have a friend on the inside or hazard a potentially problematic impression. Her other senses are heightened, so you really gotta commit. I can quit whenever I want. This is a very tired, I mean tried and true technique. The format of the modern freak show. Our job as the audience is to gawk and squawk at his audacity while throwing peanut shells between the bars of the cage we are also trapped in. There are so many of these, and most of them are, I mean, it's pretty obvious after a few.
So this is women that, again, you know, like here's one. It says performative final boss. Bro even gave the cat the ick. And the cat is walking away from this guy playing acoustic guitar while drinking a matcha, listening to something on his headphones, sitting on his front porch.
That they're fake. It's supposed to be satire, friends or the account owner themselves dressing up for the bit. I mean, surely the average TikTok user has the bare minimum amount of intelligence to realize. So
yeah, they're obviously, because they're just getting clicks on TikTok. So this is social media. A lot of it's pretty fake, but okay.
Yeah, this is a general trend. There is a huge amount of this kind of, maybe it's a social contagion where women get together and they reject men. And they're not even waiting for the men to come up to them now. They're actually filming them in public like a freaking weirdo and rejecting them in like these little cliques. So a man is in public doing something that you can frame as potentially reject worthy, and you film him without his consent. You're just like, zit. I mean, it's public, so, you know, you don't need his consent, but it's still, it may not be illegal, but it is gross. So you film them, and then you get together with your clique of girlfriends or women online, and you reject them. You all reject them collectively. Holy shit, that was quite the thump. Maybe I should go out there and make sure that one of the roofers didn't fall off.
I don't think it was that loud, but well, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. From here, it didn't sound that bad.
No, but I got the microphone that's reducing the. But like, you have a whole bunch of women going online and getting in their little witchy clique and just rejecting this dude, and he's done nothing. Nothing. He hasn't even gone up. Like, it's like that. There's no longer, men are no longer approaching, so they're not getting their rejection fixed that way. Oh, I gotta get some rejection, and I gotta get that rejection. So they go and harass some guy, and this is harassment, right? You videotape him, you put him on the internet, and you open him up to all this thuggish bullying by your clique of witches who are like, oh, we gotta get our harassment, we gotta get our rejection fixed in. Oh, we haven't been able to reject men because nobody's approaching us. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna reject him. We're gonna reject him so hard. And it's like, that is repulsive. That is like repulsive. Sorry, am I making you? Yeah,
Okay.
I'm trying to emulate the repulsiveness of this.
Yeah.
Because it's got this weird kind of, I don't want to use the term incel energy, but it's got that kind of hatred plus insecurity plus whiff of freaking fatfold BO, kind of quality to this behavior.
Sure.
It's just, can you just imagine, women, this is gross. This gives me the ick. Like, men rarely give me the ick, but this, like, a lot of female behavior really gives me the ick, and this is one of it. Like, you can't reject, men are no longer approaching you, so you can't reject men that way. So you're filming some dude who is absolutely doing nothing to you, and you're going online and you're opening him up to a bunch of harassment by your fellow losers. And I don't know any of the details of your life, but the fact that you're engaging in this behavior, loser. Losers.
Yep. All right.
If you had a husband, you'd be doing much more fun things right now. But you bought into the party of single woman Kool-Aid. Okay.
All right. So she's reading some of the comments to these obviously like staged videos.
Who does he think he's fooling? I'm so irritated. Who actually reads books outside? Imagine him trying matcha for the first time, trying to find the page he's lost in his book with the labubus on his bag that his girlfriend. Hopefully that's the case, but I fear it's performative. Whether or not the videos are real is less important to me than the amount of people who seem very comfortable with the idea that they are. Surveilling each other in a surveillance state seems like a little bit of a roll-up beanie on a roll-up beanie, don't you think?
Yeah. Okay, my dude, my froggy dude. Do men do this? Like, do they film women in public and publicly shame them for their choices and appearance? Is this a common male behavior? Why are you referring to this activity as people done, people created? I think that this is purely female, because I can only imagine the absolute outrage if there were men sharing videos of women shaming them for what they're choosing to eat and dress. Oh God, I just realized, just saying that made me sense the tidal wave of absolute, just the tidal wave of anger and outrage that would just imagine it, Brian. A whole bunch of men on TikTok, maybe even a group of men, filming women in public and then going on TikTok to shame them for their food, their dietary choices, and their choices of dress, what they're wearing. Mm-hmm. I think that would be yeeted off of TikTok so hard. And yeah, it's okay if women do it to men. So no, she's saying this is surveillance culture created by people. I'm not buying it. This is bullying culture created by women.
Yes.
All right, let's.
Yes. All right. So I jumped to the next time code. She shows some clips of guys being called performative that don't think they are. And yeah, let's keep going.
You're doing is performative.
So, did we get those pesky fake feminists yet? Like, surely the joke has gone too far at this point. Can we keep the comment section off the crosswalk? I don't want TikTok behavior in my neighborhood. Don't make me an ally of the HOA.
Let me enjoy my matcha at my tote bag. I've been doing this since 2020.
POV, you're a man trying to read in public, but then remember it's performative. God forbids a man buy flowers without being called performative. You may think I'm being performative by reading on the subway platform. Little do you know I haven't understood a single page of this book and desperately just want to finish so I can start something new. You can say, well, if they're not being performative, they shouldn't care what people think. But that's not how humans work.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
guessing that this woman isn't acknowledging that this is behavior that women do. And men will not, I'm pretty sure that men would, if men were actually filming women in public for the express purpose of shaming their dress and their food, other men, namely like TikTok staff or Twitter staff, would be like, what are you doing? I don't even think, I'm not even sure I've seen that. Like, have you ever seen that? No. No, I mean, yes, men can have opinions when women put their own stuff up, like the gym bunnies with their don't look at my ass, which is clothed by, yeah, my pussy fat, which is clothed by like a nanoparticle thin layer of Lululemon. You know, don't look at that as I shove it in your face. But I mean, men can have comments on that or comments about other things that women put up, but I have never seen men do this. This is like a new level of bullying that women have invented. Congratulations. I am in awe.
Mm-hmm.
Awed and full of the ick. Okay.
All right.
But performative. What I was going to say is performative is actually, it is feminine. Like women see themselves in terms of a performance. It's very interesting. And then they frame everything else in terms of performance. It's unfortunate that the English language has two versions of the word perform. Perform as in to pretend to be something and perform as in to engage in an activity. But
like accomplish something.
Yeah, to accomplish something.
Like measuring your performance, you know, on a test or a skill. Yeah.
I don't know why English does that, because they're very distinct.
I'm sure German is can cover all the bases on that one, right?
Yeah, but it would be like 16 syllables long.
Yeah, probably.
And
it'd basically be a sentence that explains it in one word.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's there's more to this clip. So she is recognizing that this is like overdone.
Especially young humans. Realizing I can't get a girlfriend, so I turn to a performative guy. You're 15. Worry about how you're going to perform on that Algebra 2 exam next week. You only have a few more years until adulthood. Play as much Minecraft as possible. Let me get this straight. The actual performative male can easily discard his disguise and move on. The men who are just being themselves are now suddenly having their intentions interrogated. Everyone else is highly discouraged from completely innocuous and sometimes
is this the twist?
Behavior.
Well, no. It is when look, let me just let her finish.
What exactly was the point of all this again? I think we can all agree that there's a difference between intent and impact. The intended target.
Okay, do you want me to tell you what the point was? It was for women to indulge, increasing their social cachet and bonding with each other through rejecting men. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it increases your social cachet, because the more men you can reject, the more socially desirable you are. So, and like there is psychology there are psychological studies that suggest that people bond through the rejection of others or expressing hatred towards others. So essentially, they've just Women have just developed a new way to shame the crap out of men. And then they all came together to do it. There you go. And honestly, I don't think it's the same as the fake geek girl phenomenon. And the reason why I don't think it's the same is because people were not just rejecting women because they took a positive identity from rejecting women, which is women do from rejecting men. It's because they were trying to make sure that these women weren't coming in to police their spaces to death. In many cases.
Yeah.
They had a genuine interest in what this stuff was about, right? They have a genuine interest in the merit of the material. And guess what? The people who policed these fake geek girls, they were 100% right. They didn't gatekeep hard enough. And they didn't gatekeep hard enough because men want women in their space. Unless they're base Zoomer men. But, so it's like they wanted women to come in. So they didn't actually make sure that the women who came in had a genuine interest in the space and didn't want to just enter a space and colonize it and take pleasure in being like a freaking pirate taking over somebody's ship and kicking them out and being like, well, this is my ship. Nar, yar. Well, what we do now? We'll just set it ablaze and find a new ship to take over because we're pirates. Should have gatekeeped harder. Okay.
All right. Albatross gives a super chat for 2 and says it's giving sour grapes female energy. I had to unpack that coded word, but I think it's female. So yeah, thank you, Albatross. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay.
A poll from NBC paints a very different picture than that painted by Poppy Seed Sourdough of the times.
What we found was a major gender gap among Gen Z. We talk about a gender gap. We see this in all age categories. It was even more dramatic among Gen Z, where Gen Z women, much more anti-Trump, much more progressive than Gen Z men. We asked them a very interesting question about how they define success in life. And what we found was when you break it down by gender and by politics, the divide between these two groups in just the basic question of success in life was profound.
I think sometimes what's more important.
Oh, that's interesting. They left that part out where men want a wife and a family and women want to be girl bosses. And that was their goals in life. Interesting omission there. I don't know if that was the fault of MSNBC or FunkyFrogBait. I'm guessing that they both were probably fine with that being left out, though. Anyway, so this was to what?
No, sorry. I apologize. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. No, I was going to just go to the next time code, but I do want to say that this trend that everybody can see kind of flies in the face of the idea that men are trying to change their behavior to appeal to women when men didn't change their voting or their beliefs. They just basically put their foot down and said, no more. We're done with this. We're going to go over here now. We're going to, daddy's home. We're going to basically clean up and fix this. And it's weird that you would think that they would do that, potentially alienating all the women in their life because they know it's the right thing to do, but then will still engage in performative behavior in the hopes of attracting a woman. I don't think it's that simple. I think that there are some men who are just into that stuff, and that's fine. And then there are men who are not. But, I'm crazy for seeing people as individuals, I guess.
Also fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Honestly, I think we need to chill with this policing of masculinity. And I don't mean that in a feminist way because they do it more than anyone. They police it out of existence. There's a difference between, I don't know, what traditional masculinity did, which was just giving, Johnny, stay within the boundaries of this fence, the fenced in ranch. Just stay in there. That'll be your masculinity. And feminists who are like, Johnny, come over here. We're going to blow your brains out and roll you into a ditch. We're just going to kill you entirely. Yeah, that's we're freeing you. We're freeing you, little Johnny, from the constraints of any kind of identity whatsoever. Don't you feel great? Also, you can be feminine, but not masculine. That's the difference. Traditional masculinity puts some structure to young men's identities. Feminism says, well, we'll get rid of that structure, but that means we don't recognize you have any value whatsoever as a boy or a man. Aren't you feeling free? Yeah, we took away all your value. Don't you feel free? Like, nobody's more free than the homeless. They don't have to go home to a home. They don't have to deal with.
They don't have rent. They don't have bills.
No, they don't have bills. They're so free. That's what feminism is doing for young men. It's freeing them from masculinity, from a recognition that they have any inherent value whatsoever. Like, could we just calm down from that and just be like, you know, men sort of have their own inherent way of doing things, really different. You know, it's just there, and you don't have to force it to be there, and you sure as hell shouldn't force it not to be there, because that ain't fair. But let's just all chill out and just breathe and just let men be who they are. You know, is there that side anywhere outside of like men's issues? Okay.
Yeah. All right, next.
Of the wiki page, the exact kind of book that a performative male might tote around in his tote. Gender Trouble by Judith Butler. So I bought it.
Sigh.
First off, hey philosophy majors, stop casually recommending this shit. You psychopaths. Do you understand how much effort it took for my social media poison brain to navigate this linguistic minefield? I think I had to read each page at least 3 to 4 times. Miss Judy B spit in my mouth, beat me over the head with theory using words I didn't know how to pronounce, and I said,
okay, we can't let it go on this long.
Judy Butler is a monster. I don't know which is worse, her or Julie Bindel. They probably would hate each other, though. I think Julie Bindel is more of the turf feminist, and Judith Butler is more on the intersectional side. She's a demon. But anyway, we're getting to, she's going to be the solution. This is where the twist comes, I think. Mm-hmm. So throughout the video, she's talking about this performative male thing, and there is a bit of credence given to the idea that performative males are doing that because they're trying to get women to sleep with them, and so therefore it's disingenuous and nothing they're doing is real. But then she says, but we've kind of like overdone this thing where we're policing that behavior, and now we're getting normal men who just are, you know, for whatever reason, by their nature, they just want to read books, they just want to drink matcha, they just want to be feminist men, and we're driving them away. So she doesn't see this as, she sees it as a problem because it's gone to excesses and it's frustrating her. So this is where we get to the, I think, let me see here. I'm gonna, because you got the time code. I know there's like another thing here, but let's just go with this.
Butler investigates the works of other philosophers such as Luce Irigaray, Simone de Beauvoir, and Monique Wittig in their attempts to define gender and how it relates to the goals of the feminist movement. Butler encourages...
Oh, good Lord! All right, so basically it's bullshit. All right, I'm just going to get in here. So they're defining gender in relation to the goals of the feminist movement. Who let them do this? Like, seriously, like who listened to this and said, you know, let's do this. Let's let feminists just operate in academia unopposed for 70 years, right? Let's just do, or 60 years, 50 years, how many years, right? Let's just let them do that. Let them define the genders in such a way that they advance their own goals. Surely, nothing bad will come of that. Surely. Let's just let a bunch of radicals that consumed Marxism, let's just let them define the most important relationship in human society. Boy, that was a bold strategy for us, wasn't it? God damn. Okay, I'm done.
All right.
not as a pre-existing objective reality, but as binary categories constructed by our judicial systems and hedged in by compulsory heterosexuality. And not even necessarily constructed well, more just kind of bumbled together by what she calls a paternal law, laying tracks just far enough ahead to maintain order. Even the concept of sex, largely agreed to be a simple biological fact, gets kind of blurry when you zoom out. I mean, humans could have just as easily created these important social divides between blonde versus brunette, or blue eyes versus brown eyes, or...
Oh, God.
Are
Okay.
is she advancing this notion seriously, or is she
She read Judith Butler, and now her brain is cooked, and she just buys it.
No, I hope you don't just. Oh God. Ugh.
She reads
it's
bell
so
hooks.
difficult. It's so difficult. Why does she need bell hooks?
Well, because bell hooks is a feminist, intersectional.
Okay, I just want to point something out. It is so difficult being somebody who's trying to get people to engage in critical reasoning and being up against people who are perfectly willing to take the putty that is this individual's brain and twist it into whatever shape they want. It's so much harder, and then tell them that that's critical thinking. Critical thinking is letting me do whatever I want to your brain lobes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm just checking something. All right, a little bit more, 30 seconds or something.
Tall versus small instead of this genitalia versus this other genitalia. And that's not even including the complications introduced by the existence of intersex people. It all gets kind of subjective when you start to think about it. Butler's ultimate conclusion is that gender itself is performative. Quote, that the gendered body is performative suggests that it has no ontological
status. Are you fucking
apart
dumb?
from the various acts.
No, if you accept that gender is performative, then you can control it.
Okay, well, first of all, no wonder women are conjecturizing about gender. And that's the other thing. It's a bunch of women deciding what gender is. Who aren't they asking? Men. Of course you're going to call it performative because that is your particular version. That is your mentality when it comes to gender. Like that's the way that women view things, as performative, as a performance. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That was actually in the study that I looked at that looked at how masculine, how people who are masculine cope, how people are feminine cope, and all who had the best coping skills. Essentially, it was men and women who were able to access feminine or masculine coping, had the best coping skills, and then men who had masculine coping skills, and then feminine coping skills, and then the group that they called like neuter or neutral or like non-differentiated, which would basically just be childish, who have no coping skills, neither masculine nor feminine, right? But femininity is performative. Masculinity is about metrics of how, not performative as in making a performance, but performing an action and the consequences of those actions. So you see yourself in terms of the consequences of your actions versus how people perceive you, basically. See the difference? Now, Judith Butler somehow figured out that all gender is a performance because she's a woman, and that's how she views gender. And this is the problem with giving feminists the ability to dictate gender. And all feminists being women, they only see everything through their lens. So instead of recognizing that there's another half of the human race that sees themselves and the way that they do in the world differently, they only see themselves, and then suddenly the other half becomes something to eradicate as incorrect. Oh, good grief. And I hope this is, I'm starting to sense the twist. It's starting to emerge from the swamps of sadness. Shall we watch some more?
Yeah, I have. We haven't gotten to the bit yet. So, all right, there's a little
Okay.
bit. There's a couple more time codes, but
which constitute its reality. AKA, you don't
Okay,
do
Biz.
things
Okay, princess.
because you're a certain gender. The things that you do create the illusion of gender. And according to Butler, what we do is
Like pregnancy and ejaculation.
survive in systems
God, this is so bad.
that regularly punish those who fail to do their gender right. Our gender performance.
Okay, all right. You mean like Mother Nature?
Yeah.
You know, if a buck fails to inseminate a deer, he is punished by Mother Nature. If a buck chooses instead to try to inseminate trees, that's not going to be adaptive. Like, this is absolutely absurd. Like these
Learn to
individuals-
grow a beard, lady, and then you're a man. Just will it into existence, manifest it.
Gender is performative. Okay. All right. So I guess men get pregnant now. They can perform pregnancy.
Well, this is still, she's still laying the groundwork for.
Okay.
something.
All right. All right.
Look, we're not there yet. Hold on.
Demands to be a good mother, to be a heterosexually desirable object, to be a fit worker.
There is no
Work
such
at
thing
a
as an
on a
object.
Whether men
Yeah, right.
Heterosexually desirable object. And if there is, then women have it in spades because
Mhm.
all of their sex toys don't have any humanity to them at all. Okay.
are reading the bell jar or playing fantasy football, they are performing. So are you, and so am I. From flappers to hipsters, there's always been a public outcry if enough people start violating gender norms.
Girls are wearing pants now. Boys are growing their hair long. Missy, that skirt is too short.
Trying to put an ethical spin on it doesn't make it any more intellectual than the scolding of your grandmother. We want
Yeah, those are surface level things. They don't necessarily determine anything. So basically, the claim that, oh, you grew your hair long as a man, that makes you a woman. No, because if it made you a woman, it wouldn't be worth pointing out that growing your hair long mattered, right? You would just be like, oh, I guess you're a woman now because you grew your hair long. Instead, people are pointing out that, you know, like back when it was, I guess, unnatural for men to grow their hair long, maybe they took issue with that back then. But I don't know. I feel like all that's fake anyway. But look, let's get to we're getting to the good bit here. So let's go back to, because this is the twist, I think. So all this time we were talking about the performative male and where it comes from, which is basically, you know, like women seeing men that behave like male feminists as bad because it means they're actually secretly predatory. Then she says, oh, you guys are overdoing it because you're going after actual like allies and actual, you know, perhaps actual male feminists that actually like matcha and these feminine coded things. So now what?
Labubu's. Where the hell did the little bastard go? Through all of the intellectual posturing, the anti-PSL campaign had a palpable hatred for a very particular woman, an established character with accessories and behaviors that complemented her drink of choice. Sound familiar? Today's matcha is yesterday's pumpkin spice. Today's performative is the flip side of yesterday's basic. It operates on the same logic. Liking bad, dumb things is natural for women. If a man likes it, he must have ulterior motives or be, you know, gay.
So do you see what she's saying? So the
Yeah,
pumpkin
women most
spice
affected.
thing, women most affected. Yeah, I figured that's where we're gonna land.
But that's not a performance, is it? Like, this is what's hilarious about them. Everything feminine is a performance except being a victim. That is not. That is actual existential truth. The existential truth of femininity. Everything is performative about masculinity except being the aggressor. That actually is like that is the truth. That isn't performative. That's just the existential definition of masculinity is being the villain, and the existential definition of femininity is being the victim. So we don't have gender roles except for these ones. And what a
Yeah.
surprise. Everything funneled into women most affected. Women are the victim. What a flippin' surprise. Also, I just wanted to point out the fact that gender roles can have different rituals or evolve and have different social markers doesn't mean that biology is a performance. That's absurd. Like, why
Yeah,
would you read a book?
it's those things are like it's like fashion. You know, men used to
Yes.
wear heels back in the day too. So what? Like, it doesn't mean anything, you know?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, that when men wore heels, they still had erections and ejaculated. No
Yeah, and they still
offense.
fought and died in wars, and they still like
Yes.
you know protected the
expected to
home.
provide.
Like they
Yeah.
still did. There were behaviors that were still expected of them that they were just better at than women. So
Yeah, that's and so there was still these expectations put on men, and still men looked at the world in the way that men do, you know, and that's what has happened is women have looked at the world, like women feminists, and they've decided everything is feminine is basically the way that women look at, like, everything is performance. And then they've declared that there is no such thing as gender. Well, you've just categorically removed one sex's intellectual perspective from your consideration. So yeah, we're all gender fluid now because there is no such thing as the binary. You did that to yourself, bud. There's no such thing as the binary.
yeah,
Because we've removed we've removed the legitimacy of men as a way of thinking. Like, men have their own particular way of thinking. That's illegitimate. Now we all have. Now it's a gender. There's no men. So now we can say that it's fluid.
yeah.
Yeah, this is all nonsense.
30
All of
seconds
it.
more to this clip. Hold on.
Okay.
Only woman like bad dumb things. Women's participation doesn't change this. By the way, they were some of the anti-PSL campaign's most decorated soldiers back in the day. I will never recover from those webcomics. This is why the performative male trend isn't revenge for women. It's the sequel. What started out as a friendly
no,
romance
no,
amongst
no,
women
all
about danger.
Yeah, see,
Can I just get in? Okay, there's all
that's
this
the twist. But anyway,
Okay, so women most affected, basically. This is the rejoinder to the pumpkin spice thing.
the reason why these men are getting shamed for, so like if it's performative, then it's not real, it's not genuine, and the men are being like evil, lying manipulators so they can get women to sleep with them. If it's legitimate, then it's bad that we're shaming them because, well, essentially we're shaming their behavior as feminine because all things that are feminine are bad because women are bad. So you know, like, damned if you do, damned if you don't, as usual.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I like pumpkin spice quite a bit.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah,
So
it's
my
a
wife and I
fine-
both like it.
It is a fine spice. It is a fine spice mixture. It's a fine spice medley. There's nothing wrong with it. And yet I also find the basic bitch pumpkin spice memes actually pretty funny. Because they are. And you know why? It's because everybody likes pumpkin spice. So it's basic.
Yeah.
And I don't even find it very
Well, but the thing is, the basic thing, most of that was, and she even said it, most of that was women fighting with other women. Men didn't care that women were into the pumpkin spice thing. Women are still into the pumpkin spice thing. Like, every time like fall starts to come around, there's like jokes about it. But like no one is upset. No one is losing sleep over it. No one's traumatized. They're all laughing at it because it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think people need to draw a distinction between teasing, like the basic bitch pumpkin spice thing, because I don't think anybody really thinks that women who like pumpkin spice are like responsible or of the devil. Like, she's overstating that. Like, I don't think that they're viewing them in a criminal lens. Like, let's clarify things here. The real problem is when we start to criminalize people, when we start to say that their behavior is antisocial. Nobody's saying that about basic bitch pumpkin spice lovers. It's just a joke. It's just mild ribbing. It's tweaking the nose. But what they're saying about men who like maca, I mean, you can shame them as feminine. Who cares, right? That's your opinion. But the people who are saying that they're some kind of toxic potential sexual abusers, they are criminalizing those men, which is removing moral consideration for them. So this goes beyond just teasing someone for liking pumpkin spice and being basic, right? This goes into the territory of threat narratives, of wartime propaganda, of justifications for slavery and genocide when we view people as criminal. And there is absolutely no reason to view men who like maca as criminals. And yet here we are. Here we be. On the map. Here we lie. And this after a whole whack of women have been videoing men in public to upload their images on the net to harass and bully them and to regard them as, some of them regarding them as having nefarious criminal intent over them. Like, this whole thing is women sexually rejecting men who have expressed absolutely no interest in them whatsoever. And no, women are not most affected. And no, this isn't an extension of the performative basic bitch pumpkin spice latte femininity. This is a completely different animal entirely. Completely different. You know what? It's fine. You know what? Honestly, I'm okay with the protein bros mocking the matcha bros. Like, that's just teasing. Honestly. Maybe it's a little bit mean-spirited teasing. But usually that kind of teasing doesn't result in anybody being shoved into appliances that get really hot. Right? It is the criminalization and then also the dehumanization of this entire process. Going out in public, finding a man minding his own business, filming him, uploading him, and then shaming him and subjecting him to, oh, he's probably in his ulterior motives, toxic sexual ulterior motives. And we got to call it out and publicly shame him. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, ladies? What is this? And then we have Froggy here. Oh, women are the worst affected. This is all about. No, it isn't. This is entirely female behavior. And it's nasty female behavior. And we don't see it because it's pointed at men. There's no excuse for this. And neither the New York Times, nor the New York Post, nor GQ, nor this individual correctly identifies the real problem here. What the hell are you ladies doing? Can I even call you ladies? Who thought this was a sensible idea? Why are you harassing men who do nothing to you? They haven't even had the audacity to go up to you and say hi, or express any sexual interest in you, and you are reading sexual interest into them not even knowing that you're filming them. Like, this is pathological to the nth degree. And no, we shouldn't be having the discussion about, oh, well, are matcha bros, like, are they doing, well, what does this mean? No, that's not the discussion that we should be having here. The discussion we should be having here is, why do women think this is appropriate behavior? Any of this. Filming a man who is minding his own business to put him online so that you and your gaggle of witches can reject someone, to read sexual intent into somebody who is minding their own business in public and then reject him. Like, what level of hell are we at? Okay, again, that's the discussion is not whether or not men like maca, whether or not men read. The discussion is, why do women feel like this is acceptable behavior? Why do they feel entitled to do this to men?
Yeah.
Okay. sorry.
No, it's
Here we
okay.
go.
That was the last time code.
I think
That was
I
it.
think
That
we-
was the twist. That was the
Of
money
course.
shot, I guess. The take home is, like women most affected because
Of
pumpkin
course.
spice. It was like that claim is doing a lot of heavy lifting. A lot of heavy lifting. So yeah.
100% it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
hell
good
only
grief.
has 9 layers. This is the abyss.
So this is below hell.
This is the abyss is a different place. 666 layers. So yeah,
We're
abyss.
we're on
not hell.
632.
Maybe. I don't know. I lost count.
No, you're right. There's probably still room to go lower, far lower. Like what the fuck? Like, and nobody. I'm guessing nobody pointed this out. Nobody's
She's got her fans. They hear what they want to hear. They're justified by that. It's funny, like when men do something that women don't like, then their masculinity is called into question. They get blamed for it. But when it looks like they can't escape the double standard, because that's what was going on, where there were women attacking men for being, performative, and like it was getting to the point where she couldn't call it out. What did she do? She pivots to Judith Butler and said, well, there's no such thing as gender. And then she says, and also women most affected. It's actually an attack on women. So you go from men are affected by something, then you go, Judith Butler says there is no such thing as a man because gender doesn't exist, and then you go, but also women are most affected. So this is the game plan. When it looks like men are about to get sympathy, we erase them by saying, well, what is a man though? What even is that? And then once people are bamboozled by that, you go also, but look at here is an example of how women are affected by this thing. And then we move away from that. We're done talking about it. Don't look. No, there's no turning the page back. It's over.
We got so many spells for this is not my problem. There was like a this is not my problem field in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We have so many ways of throwing a this is not my problem field over men's issues. This is not my problem. And yes, what you're saying, her convoluted reasoning, 100%. But what really gobsmacks me is that the story here isn't women feel entitled to videotape men for the express purpose of shaming their clothing and their food choices and their reading in public on internet to bully and shame them. That's not the story here. The story is actually legitimating this entire discourse and saying, oh yeah, it really is about the men, not women's behavior towards men. And then sexualizing those men and rejecting them. Boy, that's embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is some femcel energy there. I'm going to use that term. All right. So once again, I want to thank Richard for suggesting this. You can support feedthebadger.com/support. And if you want to send a message, feedthebadger.com/justthetip. If you want to join us in our community, badgernation.online. And here, Brian, if you have any final thoughts, go ahead.
No, I think I said what I wanted to say about the video. I think I basically made it clear. So no, I'm good.
Yeah, Art for Z says it's the SEP field, someone else's problem. Yeah, we got a lot of ways of throwing the SEP field over men's issue. We've just witnessed one. Invoke the spirit of Judith Butler.
Yep. They always have that to fall on. And she even admits that she couldn't read Judith Butler's commie gobbledygook words, but still managed to extract from that, despite the fact that she struggled to read it, enough of an argument, or at least something that looked like an argument, so that she could present it in her video, while claiming that she did all the heavy lifting for her audience so they don't have to. So she's basically saying, I read this really hard to read book so you don't have to, and here's the thing that I came up with. Oh, look, how lucky for us. We're still right and not at all at fault for any of this stuff. And men just have to like accept that they're the problem still. So that's it. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, or at least that men are not the victims, ultimately.
Certainly not.
No, because as we know,
But,
genders.
but even when men are the victims, men are the perpetrators, so that cancels it out. Remember,
Yeah.
men are the ones calling men gay, not women. That's not happening.
Yeah, well, she did admit that it was women who were doing the pumpkin spice thing, so at least she admitted that.
No,
but
with the pumpkin spice thing, she did, but I think she was trying to say, look, we hold our own accountable.
Or something, yeah.
It was kind of like a pat on the back for women. So,
but what I think ultimately it comes down to is that gender is a performance, but women are always victims and men are always the villains.
yeah.
Women are always in the white hats and men are always in, no, wait, they're not in the white hats because that's hero hats. Women are always in the frilly bonnets and men are always in the black hats. And there is no hero except government. That's why we got to give government our money. All right. So I just want to remind you guys, feedthebadger.com/support for this monthly fundraiser. And also please consider, really deeply think about starting a subscription at feedthebadger.com/subscribe. I do have a yearly option as well. It's just like $60 a year, gets you access to the Discord. I think that's very fair. And you get you can actually get alerts for our shows. Plus we have events and after shows if you want to go for higher tiers. And it's, you know, there's a lot of activity in that community, and I go in and I chat with people. There's a place to ask me questions. I don't always answer them, but there is a place, and it's a good community. And if you're interested in storytelling, we have a writers group. That's really good. And the $60 a year will give you access to that. Really do think about it because the subscriptions really help us. It's a great way to help us keep the weight off at least my mind, knowing that we have regular income coming in. So once again, feedthebadger.com/subscribe. We are pretty unique, and yeah, I actually think that we're pretty much one of the few places that are talking about these things in the way that we do. And unfortunately, like one of the reasons why we don't have as much reach is because we do the things that interest us, which other channels tend to follow trends. Like we hit this trend when. So that's but on the other hand, I think we're bringing a lot more deep insight to everything that's happening. Plus, I think that we might be the only people who've made the connection between everything that's happening and the just absolute destruction. Like we just listened to it. Feminists got into academia, and then they decided that they were going to look at the relationship between the genders in such a way that it benefits feminism. Who was like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do that. Yay. And nobody just like points that out and says, hey, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Maybe everything that we're dealing with now might be a little bit downstream of that. But anyway, if you want to support our voice, feedthebadger.com/support, please do it so we can continue to bring you this content. And here you go, Brian. I am done.
All right. Well, if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today. And please, please, please share this video because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of Maintaining Frame, and we'll talk to you all in the next one.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.